Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Wavy Tunnel PRO Dashboard. Scan, Spot, Strike, your precision engine for spotting setups across stocks, ETFs, futures, Forex, and crypto. Before we begin, please take a moment to read this disclaimer. It's important to remember, always practice with a demo or a paper trading account when learning any new strategy or tool. The dashboard has been a long time in the making. I'm joined today by Daniel Sinig, who will walk you through the latest features and updates. Daniel and I have known each other for many years, and we've always shared a common philosophy: structure, rules, and clarity in trading. This alignment led to this collaboration. The result is a powerful fusion of experience and technology, an Elliott Wave based dashboard designed to bring structure to how traders analyze the market cycles. Why did we build this dashboard? Let's be honest, there are thousands of symbols out there, and most traders scroll endlessly through the charts, enter trades late, second guess their decisions, and trade emotionally due to a lack of structure. What is the result? Missed opportunities, wasted time, and inconsistent performance. What is our solution? The Wavy Tunnel PRO Dashboard solves this. It's one dashboard. It shows clean and structured setups. It offers a real-time edge because it scans over 4,900 symbols daily in stocks, ETFs, futures, Forex, and crypto. And it flags all of the Wavy Tunnel Pro setups, the end of trend and the trend trades. This saves time. This reduces noise. This boosts clarity. And it's built for traders who want structure, not guesswork. So first, let's go through and understand the market cycle. Let's review the market structure behind it. At its core, everything is based on the 8-wave cycle to the right. We have 5 waves up, which are the impulse trend, and a 3-wave ABC corrective phase. And from this, we can identify 3 types of opportunities. The end of trend trades at point T, and that offers the price to wave and fill the gap trades down to C. The trend continuation trades, called the breakout 3 and the breakout 4 trades, and then the sideways range bound trades. So let's just go through these setups. The end of trend trades, the price to wave and the fill the gap trades, those occur from the market top. So the price to wave is price moving back into the wave, and then the fill the gap is price filling the gap between the wave and the tunnel. You can see the wave and the tunnel on the chart. The wave are the 3 purple lines, and the tunnel are the 2 dotted lines, which are the longer term moving averages. The trend continuation setups, the breakout 3 trend trade setups, occur along the trend, the wave. When the wave is above the tunnel, we're in an uptrend. So this is where all of the breakout 3 trades take place. Whenever we come back into the wave, the dashboard scanner will scan for these setups. These red dots, these blue dots into the wave. That's what the scanner scans for. And then the breakout 4 trade is after a significant correction down to this point. This is your breakout 4 trade. It's really the end of the wave 4 to the wave 5 launch. And this is when traders are really fearful and they tend to bail. Up here is when traders are greedy, they're optimistic. Nothing can go wrong. The market is going to keep going up. So this is where we have to switch the brain, change the brain, train the brain to think up here, to think fear, and down here, think greed. This is the Wavy Tunnel Pro setup that mimics the 8-wave market cycle, the 5 waves up and the 3 waves down. Let's look at some examples. This is the classic breakout 4 trade for the wave 5 move. Barrick Mining Corp. We have the purple semaphore at the top, and then we have a nice 3-wave move down to the gray semaphore. Price settles right below the tunnel. This is what we call the breakout 4 trade. This occurs over here after the large ABC correction, when we have the initial A leg down, then the B wave up. This is called the bull bear trap, when traders think, oh, we're going to continue to go up from here, and then price rolls over and makes an extended move down for the wave C. And this is where the dashboard scanner picks up all of these setups. We have all of the breakout 3 trades along this curve, along the wave. So every time price pops back into the wave and we get a blue or a red dot, this is where the scanner will pick up the breakout 3 trades. This is the price to the wave trade. The scanner will pick up these trades. And then this is the fill the gap trade, the gap between the wave and the tunnel. So PW, fill the gap, breakout 3 trades, and the breakout 4 trade, which is the end of the wave 4 or the end of the wave 2 for the next cycle move up. Let's look at a few more examples. The scanner, the dashboard scanner, picked up this beautiful entry for Google when the market was selling. So it picked up this, and it also picked up this trade for Teva Pharmaceutical Industries Limited. In fact, there were many trades that the scanner picked up at this time. Now it's time for the live walkthrough with Daniel. Daniel is going to show you the dashboard scanner and take you on a little journey with all of the changes that have been made over the last several months to improve the dashboard scanner based on trader reviews and trader requests. So over to you, Daniel.
Hey everyone, my name is Daniel, and in this presentation I will give you an update as to what the new features are that we have recently, a couple of days ago, added to the Wavy Tunnel Pro Dashboard. And you will see, first of all, that there are quite a few of new things added to the dashboard. And secondly, I think you're gonna like what you see. So let's get right into it. So the first feature that we've added to the dashboard are new filters and new scan columns. And the filters relate to the fill the gap scan. This is based on a user request. We received an email from a user, I forgot who it was, who said, hey guys, could you add a gray red scan for the daily fill the gap scan? Well, we've listened, and we've added this scan to the dashboard. Let me show you where you can find it. So I'm going to switch over to the dashboard. Here we have it. And if you go to the right-hand side here in the scanner, if you scroll to the right, you will see, first of all, the fill the gap scans, both for the daily and the weekly. And if you now open up the daily fill the gap filter here, you can see now the gray red scan added for both long and short setups right here. Now, we didn't stop there. We also, if I go back to the slides for 1 second, we also added the same scan, gray red for the weekly time frame. And in addition to this, we added gray blue for the weekly time frame as well. You may say, hey, gray blue, wasn't it there already? Yes, it was there, but only for the daily. Now it's also available for the weekly time frame. Quick demo. So back to the dashboard. Here we go. If we open up the fill the gap on the weekly here, the filter to the right-hand side, go down, you will see gray blue and gray red added here. Let me quickly open it up. Gray blue, for example, a couple of examples loaded here. We click on it, make sure on the chart, of course, you will also switch to the weekly time frame. Remember, this is a weekly scan. Open up the weekly time frame, and once done, you will indeed see gray blue right here on the chart. And of course, the same for the short direction. Let me quickly see if we do have any there. Yeah, quite a few there. Let me see if I can find a stock which actually resonates with me. Maybe a CTS Corporation. Sounds familiar somehow. And you can see it here. Gray blue also added here for the last completed week on the scanner. All right, so this has been added, and this was based on a user request. Now, the second set of new features relates a little bit more on things that I personally thought could be of use for our Wavy Tunnel Pro users. And these are a couple of new scan columns. One is called index, one is called year-to-date percent, YTD percent, 52-week high percent, and 52-week low percent. Let me show you how you can find these new columns and what these ones are all about. So back to the dashboard. Let's check it out. So if you load the dashboard, you may see a new column index right next to price. You can see it here. If you don't see it, you may notice already, you can use the column configurator here to enable this new index column here. You can see now it's enabled or disabled. So I enabled it, and you can see it right here next to price. Let me just quickly see what's happening here. I think I reloaded this. 1 second, guys. Actually, I'm gonna quickly reset the dashboard to its default settings just to make sure that everything is in order. And this is actually a new feature which we've also added to reset everything back to, their default to how it was shipped. Okay, so now we see index right to the right of price here. And if you don't see it, make sure you enable it directly here in the settings. Okay, so index is there. And what does this column mean? Well, it means that, or it shows you to which major index a symbol belongs. So for example, here in case of Agilent, you can see Agilent belongs to the S&P 500. If you go down here, a couple of symbols which don't belong neither to the S&P or the NASDAQ, but down here, for example, Apple, you can see, okay, Apple belongs to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 and so forth. And we plan in the future to add a few more indices to this mix, like the Russell or the Dow and some other ones, perhaps some European indices as well. It's a bit of a convenience feature, which will allow you to see, okay, to which index does a particular stock belongs. Moving on, if you go to the right-hand side here, we've also added, we don't see it right now, but I'm going to add it right now. We've also added a couple of columns called 52-week low percent. Just quickly enable it here. I think there's a small bug with the selector here, but this is no big deal. There we go. We've also added 52-week high percent, 52-week low percent, and year-to-date percent to the dashboard. Let me explain to you what these columns do. So year-to-date percent is perhaps the most intuitive column. You can see it here. And it allows you to see, okay, how much did the stock gain or perhaps lose since the beginning of the year? So in case of Agilent, we can see it lost 11.22% since the beginning of the year, meaning since January 1st, 2026, it has lost 11.22%. If you measure this out here on the dashboard, you will see, I'm going to go to my ruler tool here. If we go to December 31st or Jan 1st, I should say, there we go, or Jan 2nd is when the market opened. There we go, and measure the difference from that price to today's price, we get to 11.04. So pretty much exactly what's on the dashboard here. So, right. So this is what this column will show you. And of course, we also have filters for this. There's a filter symbol next to it. And you can see, okay, maybe I want to filter to see only the symbols which gain at least 50% in the since the beginning of the year. You have a couple of nice examples here. Then, of course, you can combine this filter year-to-date with, for example, some filters based on the indices. So if I enable the index column here one more time, there we go. And I want to say, okay, show me all the S&P 500 stocks which have gained at least 50% since the beginning of the year. I can use the filter right next to index here, select S&P 500. And once done, you can see, for example, here, CIEN. Right here, Sienna Corporation gained 108% since the beginning of the year. Wow. Dell, of course, we've seen this gained quite a bit, 59.07%. And of course, you can also sort. So let's see which of the S&P 500 stocks gained the most since the beginning of the year. Well, I'll let you guys guess what it is. You can simply click on this column here, sort from highest to lowest. And you can see it here, Western Digital up 111.12% since the beginning of the year. This is how you can now use this feature or this new filter, this new column to find stocks which are very explosive this year, or perhaps also stocks which have lost a lot this year. Let's have a quick look. Which stock perhaps lost more than 50%? Let's have a quick look. And I guess no stock lost more than 50%. That's good to know. Maybe less than 10%. Yeah, quite a few stocks here. And perhaps the stock that lost the most is Workday. 40% down since the beginning of the year. Now you can find these stocks very easily with the scanner. Let's talk about the other two columns here, the 52-week high and the 52-week low percent. All right, let's start with 52-week high percent. This column basically shows you, and I'm going to stay with the S&P 500 here just to keep it a bit more streamlined. The 52-week high percent shows you how far a stock is off right now from its 52-week high. So this is really a 52-week, not since the beginning of the year. So this would mean today it's April 21st. We go back all the way to April 21st, 2025, and then check what is the high point. And we can see here how far is the stock away from this 52-week high. So for example, here, Agilent A is currently 16.20% off its 52-week high. And if you look at on the chart here, let's try to find this high point. 1 second, it's probably this one up here. If we measure this all the way from there down to current price, we can see, okay, it's 24.53%. I measured this really nicely off this high point. Apple, you may not believe it, is off 40%. Is that possible from the high point? Let's have a quick look. Where's Apple coming from? No, this can't be. I think this is small. Oh, 5.39%. I looked in the wrong column here. 5.39% off its high. I was just wondering, hey, Apple down 40% since its high point. That must be a steal right now. No, I misread the column. 5.39% off. I believe this was the high point here. If we measure this off this point down to current price, yeah, 5.11. It's somewhere around 5.39%. What's interesting here is that every value here is negative, meaning we are off this high point. Okay. Now, the next one here is the low point. How far has a particular symbol gained since its 52-week low? This number can never be negative because, we're measuring it from a low point. So chances are stock will be higher than the low point. It has to be higher or at least equal to the low point. So let's see. Apple up 41.29% off its 52-week low. So if we look now here at our scanner here, let's see what was the low point. It probably was back here April 9, no, probably around here, April 22nd. If you measure this out from this point on up to current price, you can see 52.73% up since that low point. Let me just see a stock which is very close to its low point. Airbnb only. No, sorry. Once again, I looked at the wrong column here. Let me just see which stock is only gained very little since the low. This one here, ABT, Abbott Laboratories, only 2.21% off its low. That's that's not very much. And if you look at the low point here, when was the low made? Oh, it was just recently made. Look at this. This was the low point here. We also have a purple signal here. If we measure this up to current price, 2.55% up. And just for the fun of it, which stock has gained the most since the low point? I'll let you guess it. WTC, Western Digital, up 839.09%. Oh my goodness, that's a good gain since the low point. Had we known back then, we can see it here. I guess also the purple signal. What a gain this stock has had. So this is how these new columns work. Okay, so let's move on to the next feature. So what else have we added to the dashboard? Well, the next one is we have, reorganized the way you can configure the dashboard with the settings. It used to be all on a long list. Now it's a bit nicer and easier to navigate. And perhaps most importantly, it's scalable. So should we add new settings to the dashboard now, they're going to be nicely organized. So how does this look like? Let's go back here. Let's go to the settings wheel all the way here on the top. Once you click on it, you can now see the settings organized in 3 different tabs: dashboard, scanner, and chart. And of course, there's a meaning to each tab. So dashboard are global settings for the entire dashboard. So what is the overall color theme, light or dark? Trade alerts, how do you want them to be configured? Do you want them to be enabled? For which watch list should they work? Do you want resized panels to be enabled? If you remember, a resized panel was this feature here where you can resize the chart in the scanner. What should the notifications and warnings be when you do certain actions? For example, delete a watch list or delete an alert and stuff like this. You can report an issue. So if you discount an issue, you can report them not directly to us. And this, I think, is quite important. You can reset the entire dashboard back to its default settings with this one here. This is useful should you, in quotes, mess something up. For example, should you put some indicators on the dashboard that you don't really want to have. everything looks different. You don't know how to get back to status quo. Well, now you can click this, this reset function here. Look what happens. I click reset. I confirm the dashboard will reload. It takes a couple of seconds to reload. And once done, everything is back to status quo, to the factory defaults, basically, of this dashboard. This is why we have added this feature here as well. So you can see how this is now nicely organized. All right, so moving on, what else is new? We have integrated better trade nodes. A couple of things here. So I'm going to remind you first of all, hey, what are trade nodes? And if you just reset the dashboard the way I have done it, you will not even see your trade nodes on the dashboard, because this feature, first of all, needs to be enabled. And of course, where do we enable this feature? Directly in the settings. So I'm going to go over here to my settings wheel, go to scanner, because trade nodes relate to the scanner component here. I select scanner and enable trade nodes. And watch what happens once I click this little button here. You will see a little icon pop up to the left of every symbol. So let me do this. I click on it and you can see this little icon now here. These are trade nodes. And it allows you basically to add a trade node directly for every symbol. And these trade nodes are time-stamped. Let me show you what that means. I'm going to open up, in fact, Agilent here, or sorry, Alcoa here. And I can see Alcoa does have a trade node because it's kind of filled up here. You can see this little node icon here. It's filled. All the other ones here are not filled. If it's filled, it means there's at least one trade node associated with Alcoa. And in fact, you don't even have to click on this trade node thing. You can just hover over it. It will take a while, and you can see a little preview of what this trade node was. You can see it here, the preview, but of course you can also click on it. It will open up in your as a dialog here, and you can see a bit of text. This was the trade node that we have entered or had entered back in August 2025. We also took a screenshot and put some other notes here. So this is a trade node associated with Alcoa. But the cool thing is, let me just open up the chart of Alcoa here as well. The cool thing is that, you know, it doesn't stop there, that we have a single trade node associated with Alcoa. You can now add additional trade nodes which are time-stamped. So I'm going to add a new trade node here with today's timestamp. I click plus. You can see today's date here. And I can see, hey, Alcoa has been moving up nicely. Whatever you want to write, you can type it in here. You can once again add a screenshot of your chart to the whole thing. And then you can click save, and it's saved now. Once saved, you will see this little button or this arrow thing to the next of it. And this arrow allows you to navigate between trade nodes. So I'm going to go back to the previous one. I can see it here. And what's new is you can also, this wasn't enabled before, but now you can also edit prior trade nodes. So in the past, you could only edit the trade node of today, but we thought, hey, why restrict it that way? Maybe we made a typo somewhere in a previous trade node. Maybe I want to edit this. I can now go in here and change something in my trade node. Maybe underline this or whatever it should be that I want to change. I click save, and now this trade node has been changed. And the idea for this is that eventually you will create an entire trade journal, which is nicely formatted, nicely typed up and edited so that you have a nice trade journal of the symbols that you had considered in the past. So let me close this here, and I want to show you something else. Do you see this little filter icon to the right of symbol here? This is actually a filter for trade nodes for the most part. For example, you can say, hey, which symbol has had trade nodes in the last 3 days? Like new trade nodes. So if I select this one, guess what will come up? Alcoa, because I have just edited Alcoa right now, which was less than 3 days ago, of course. It shows up right here. So you can filter by this now. You can also filter, okay, I want to see the symbols which have the most trade nodes. Okay, maybe more than one trade node, more than 3, more than 5. So let's select more than 3 here. And what comes up? GLD, gold. Yeah, of course, gold was in the news a lot. It would have been a great buy along the way, also after this dip here. And we can see it here. If I click on the trade nodes, we have 1, 2, 3 trade nodes associated with gold. And I can navigate once again using my little arrows here through these trade nodes. This is exactly what is now possible. And for example, if you don't like an entry like this one here, Be careful, GLD is extended with no picture there. Maybe you don't like this trade note anymore. You can now also delete a trade note. Just be careful. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't re-edit. So I'm going to delete this trade note. A little confirmation here. Yes, I really want to delete it. And it's gone. Now we only have two trade notes left. Perfect. So this was the improved trades note feature. And let's move on to the next one. So quick views for upcoming earnings and dividends. What is this all about? Well, let's see. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and you may have noticed that sometimes, every once in a while, we can see this little info icon to the left of each symbol. That, of course, is always there. But sometimes you will also see a little E icon here, like for American Airlines. And guess what that stands for? E stands for earnings. And this is populated if that symbol has earnings coming up in the near future. What the near future means, I'm going to explain to you in a second. And if you hover over this icon here, you can even see, okay, American Airlines has earnings coming up on April 23rd. All right, can see it right here. Let me scroll down a little bit. Here is another one that has earnings coming up. ABCB, Ameris Bancorp, earnings on also April 23rd. Let's move on. All right, I'm just going to continue until I find something. This one here, ACI, a D next to it, Albertsons Supermarket. What does D mean? Yeah, you can guess it. It means dividends coming up. The DivX date is coming up, which is April 24th in this case. And remember, the DivX date is the date by which, before you need to own the stock in order to collect the dividend. You can see it also right here in the notes. Now, I mentioned before, the D or the E means that earnings or DivX dates are coming up in the near future. So what does the near future mean? Well, guess what? It's all defined. Once we go to the settings, look here, we now have a new entry here called info and events. And in there, you can see, for example, for upcoming earnings and upcoming dividends, it needs to be within 1 week. But you may say, hey, this is a bit too short for me. I even want to see symbols if the earnings are coming out, let's say, within 1 month. I can enable it, and you can see, oh, how many are now coming up here. It's earnings season right now. All these stock now have earnings coming up within 1 month. And all these different E's here. And the same thing for, go back to the settings, the same thing you can do for upcoming DivX dates right here. Yeah. Which you can customize. And if you don't like these little symbols to the left of the name of the stock or ETF, you can disable it in the first place. You can just click here and it's all gone. All gone. You can even disable the little info icon here, which gives you more information about the stock by disabling the setting here. I personally have them all enabled. I like to see what's going on. To me, that's a convenience feature. It's an ease of life or quality of life feature. I like to see right away here in the scanner when a stock has upcoming earnings or DivX dates. All right, moving on. What's next? Reorder columns, another feature which was requested by our users. So thanks again, guys, for sending in this request. Great suggestion. Once again, you put it out there, we listened, and we've acted on it. Now it is possible to reorder your scan columns. How does this work? Well, let me switch over here. And of course, right now, the columns here in the scanner seem to be fixed. There's a fixed order to it. There's nothing that can be done. Well, now there's something that can be done. You can go to the settings, once again here, to our settings wheel, to the scanner settings, and enable reorder columns, this option here. You click on it, and once done, you will notice to the left of each column header here, these little 6 dots, like here and here and here and here and so forth. These are draggable elements, meaning you can use your mouse, click your mouse key, and then move this column around. You release your mouse key, and now the column is at a different position. You can move it back again. You can move others around. And this is a way for you, to customize the order of scan columns to what you would like to have. Really cool. It's very smooth. It works great on your desktop. If you're on the mobile phone, unfortunately, this is not possible. This is really a feature that needs to be done on the dashboard. However, let's say you want to also have a different order for your mobile phone or your tablet. What you can do is you can log in to the desktop version, the full screen version of your desktop, reorder the columns to what you like to see, whatever that may be, and then that's it. Then you can log out, re-log in with your iPhone or your tablet or whatever it is, and the order will be preserved to what it was last on your desktop. So this is saved to your account. And once again, if you mess up, and this is one more reason why we now have this reset function. If you mess up, if you drag things around, you have no idea what was the original order, what can you do? Well, you may guess it. You can simply use the reset, there we go, reset to default settings option here in the menu to reset the entire dashboard back to its default settings. Perfect. And guys, we have one more new thing that's integrated into the dashboard. Let me just quickly go back to my slides here. One more. Oh, reset to default settings we just discussed. And one more item, shared watch list. That's super exciting. And this is something that you will see or experience more and more in the future when Jody or her trading team starts sharing watch lists. Now, what does that mean? So let me go back to the dashboard and what is possible? Let's just give you a hypothetical scenario. I'm not sure how exactly Jody will implement this in the future, but here is what might be happening. Now, let's say Jody or some of her traders in her team gives a nice webinar and he does some research or maybe does, figures something out using the dashboard and puts together a watch list. So let's say, hey, these are my hot stocks for this week. Whatever it is, I'm just making something up here. And based on the research, maybe it was determined perhaps, I don't know, gold is one of them. GLD, great stock. Let's add it to hot stocks of this week. And maybe what else do we have? Tesla had a nice bottom lately. Maybe Tesla could be an interesting find here. I'm going to add it as well to the hot stocks for this week. And maybe Apple. Yeah, Apple has a good run. There we go. Maybe we're going to add Apple also to this watch list. And this is based on some research. All right. So all these stocks now are on this watch list. And if you go to our watch list drop down here, we can see the hot stocks for this week, contain. Let me just move this search here. Contain now exactly these three stocks: GLD, Tesla, and Apple. And what's now possible, that's really cool, is Jody or an administrator of the dashboard now has the ability to share this watch list with all other users. And this can be done via this little button here. This button is only available for administrators. So I can click on it. And once done, I get a confirmation message. And once this is completed, you will then see this watch list, the hot stocks for this week, directly in your user account. Two things though. First of all, you will see it under this drop down here. So if you go here, drop down, there will be an item called shared watch list, like watch lists which have been shared by an administrator. You can see it right here. And you will see the watch list. You can click on it. You can see what's in there, but you cannot edit what's in there. It's a read-only watch list. But it's really still really cool because you can then follow along. Hey, these are the picks that Jody has in her mind right now. So pretty cool feature. A feature that was requested. Now it's in the dashboard. And one more thing, if you for some reason, don't want to see this watch list in your dashboard, what you can do is you can configure what you actually see here in your dropdown. This is another new feature. You can go to the settings up here and go to watch list selector. If you're wondering what this element was, you can click on it and they can customize which watch list you want to see in your dashboard. So the predefined dashboard watch list, for example, the shared watch list will show up here if there's any, and so forth. So here you can customize all these things. All right, guys, I think this sums up pretty much everything that has been added to the dashboard. As you can see, quite a few things. We put a lot of work into this. I hope you guys like it. Let me know or let Jody know if there are any questions. And of course, stay tuned for more updates. As you know, the Wavy Tunnel Pro Dashboard is a very much a live dashboard. It's very dynamic and new things will be added all the time. And for example, Jody and I, we've been talking offline about new features, new scans, trend lines being added, some Elliott Wave stuff being added to the dashboard. Stay tuned for all this. This is what's coming up in the next couple of weeks and months. With this, I give it back to Jody. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you liked what you saw and talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Daniel. Welcome back. And now you've seen the dashboard in action. As Daniel showed, this is more than just a scanner. It's a complete trading workflow tool with advanced features, with built-in note-taking and journaling, with custom dynamic watch lists with other filters. You can scan for your favorite Wavy Tunnel Pro setups for review and get an email every single night with the dynamic watch list that the tool sends to you. So it is really a complete trading workflow tool, not just a scanner. This is your invitation to join us. Are you ready to trade smarter with the Wavy Tunnel Pro Dashboard, where you will get access to the full feature scanner across all 4,900 plus symbols, real-time alerts, catch setups without screen fatigue, with integrated tools for note-taking, optionality filtering if you trade options, and dynamic watch lists. You can even import your own watch list. You'll have access to the private Discord community, support with bi-weekly Q&A, and training. It's no magic, just market structure mastery. This isn't a black box system. You'll understand every setup you take with structure, confidence, and discipline based on real-time chart context. We don't rely on hype. We rely on time-tested market principles. No system is perfect, by the way. No trade is guaranteed. Nobody has a crystal ball. We teach disciplined, rule-based setups so you can trade with clarity and not emotion. This is not a buy and hope system. You know what you're trading, why you're trading it, how to manage it from entry to exit. Now, I want to take you to the members area so you can see what you get with this wonderful dashboard scanner. Once you log in to the website, you go under Tools and Dashboard, under Dashboard, and you have your latest updates. You have your Wavy Tunnel Pro training, your dashboard scanner training, and your onboarding and follow-up sessions. So the Wavy Tunnel Pro training is basic training in Elliott Wave analysis, Wavy Tunnel Pro setups. Let's go there and have a look. So you have Elliott Wave Basics, Wavy Tunnel Pro Basics, and Wavy Tunnel Pro Advanced. So you learn the setups in this section of your website. Then you get the Wavy Tunnel Pro trade plans, and you can click and download the trade plans so that you can print them out and keep them in front of you and internalize it, learn it. If we go to the dashboard scanner training, this is where you have several videos on using the dashboard scanner and scanning for all of the Wavy Tunnel Pro setups. So price to wave, dashboard scanner instructional video. Fill the gap, instructional video. Breakout 4, instructional video. And this is a trading blotter, which shows you all of the different setups and what they mean. Breakout 3, dashboard scanner instructional video. So this is all the training inside the members area. And then, of course, if we go to dashboard onboarding and follow-up sessions, there are lots of sessions here with Daniel and I going through markets that you can learn from. So this is your invitation to join us. Trade smarter with the Wavy Tunnel Pro Dashboard watch lists, where you get quick access to a subset of symbols of your choosing. There is no restriction on the number of symbols that you can put in a watch list. And there are two types of watch lists. The regular watch list is where symbols are fully controlled by the user. But the dynamic watch list, those are symbols defined by the scan criteria, and it changes daily. You can also import your watch list from a CSV file. And if you have any symbols that you'd like to see on the dashboard scanner that aren't already there, send them over, and Daniel will put them in if he has the data available. Trade smarter with the Wavy Tunnel Pro Dashboard alerts and utilities. Receive automatic email notifications 2 hours after the close. Yes, it's an end of day scanner when new symbols appear on the dynamic watch list. You can have live mode so you can see the smaller time frames in live mode. It's based on a TradingView framework, and dual chart mode as well. So you can put two charts on top of one another. I usually look at the weekly and the daily. We talked about trade notes, journaling, and taking chart screenshots. You can put your screen in light versus dark mode, and you can use full screen mode. There are lots of variations as to how you use the scanner and present the scanner, and that's all highlighted in the videos in the members area. So the pricing for this, we have a special discount, $7.97 yearly, regular price $9.97, and the monthly fee is $79. The regular price is $97. And the website is wavytunnelpro.com/dashboard. So go to the website or click on the QR code below. If you have any questions, please email me at jody@fxtradersedge.com or support@fxtradersedge.com. We're continuously improving this platform, adding new features, enhancing usability, and evolving with the markets. So if you're not already using the dashboard, now is your opportunity. We're here to support you every step of the way. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on the inside.